So as I was saying before, today we're going to talk about the scripts. There is a big debate out there among hypnotherapists. Some hypnotherapists say that it's important to have a script in front of you when you see your client or when you are in front of the person. There are some other hypnotherapists that say that it's not important to have a script. Actually, they say that we shouldn't or you shouldn't have a script because the client can perceive that you are just reading a script. So everyone can have different ideas. It's important for, probably all of you know what a script is, but a script in hypnosis is just a collection of suggestions that we give to the client, to the person, in order to be accepted by the client, by the person. We want to influence positively into the client's subconscious mind, and the way to do that is through suggestions. So a script is a collection of suggestions. A suggestion is basically just an idea. It's an idea that we put into the form of words, basically an idea that we transform into words. And we just deliver that idea with the intention of influence positively the subconscious mind of the person. So this person can make a change, a positive change. That's what a script is. As I was saying, there are different schools of thoughts. I told John when he came that I opened a thread on the internet about, on my Facebook page, to see if the people, other hypnotherapists, what was their position in relation to this topic. I asked, do you think that a hypnotherapist should have a script, or do you think that a hypnotherapist shouldn't have a script? And I received only two answers. One of them said that it's important to have a script and to deliver always the same suggestions to the client. Doesn't matter what is the topic or the issue that the client is bringing, but this hypnotherapist in particular is saying that it's important to deliver always the same suggestion from the same topic. That's his opinion. My opinion is that it has to be a certain, we should tailor our scripts to our clients, to our person. So as I'm saying this, you can notice that we should tailor the scripts. It means that I support the scripts. Why do I support the scripts? I think that scripts is all about preparation. I believe that we have to be really prepared before seeing a client. How can we be prepared? It's just by collecting a lot of information. I believe that a script is just a collection of suggestions that have been created by our client, not by us. For that reason, it will be important to include the information that our client is telling us into our scripts. I support the use of scripts, but the use of scripts where we can incorporate or we can tailor to our client's needs. Someone could say, especially at the beginning, I remember I started life professionally about 3 years ago, and I recognized that a couple of times I saw clients just reading the whole script. I didn't tailor the script at all. So now I'm wondering why I didn't have results. So probably because I was reading. What happened when we are reading a script? In many cases, our client can perceive that we are reading a script. It might lose the power of the intention. It might look like, okay, this hypnotherapist is just reading a script and nothing has to do with what I can hear. He might be talking about insomnia. Imagine that there is a client talking about insomnia and I'm delivering a standard script about insomnia. So probably the client wouldn't identify my words with insomnia, with his particular case. For that reason, when I was talking about this particular hypnotherapist that say on my Facebook page that all the clients should have the same suggestions, if they are bringing the same topic, I think that that's not exactly what is more effective. So today we're going to see about how to write effective scripts. And again, I'm saying this is something subjective from my experience and from my research. So don't consider that this is the truth, but probably I'm saving you some time today because I have done a good research and the information that I'm going to give you is a collection, because usually if you read several books, there are always books that they are saying the same. If, for instance, I tell you I'm passionate about self-development, law of attraction, all those kind of things about improving personal development, and I can tell you that if I read 3 books or 4 books about personal development, 75% of the book say always the same. So it changes maybe just 25%. For that reason, what I have done is just to collect what the other people were saying about the scripts, what was more effective. Is that my mobile phone? Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry. I forgot to switch off.
That was a reminder for us to
This is a suggestion without words. You have heard my mobile phone and automatically you are deciding to switch on your phone. This is a suggestion made by my phone. The thing, I support that we always have to have a script in front of us, but a script that should be tailored to our client's need, our person needs, because that person is going to feel identified. We want to create a change in our client, and to create that change, the ideas that we are delivering must be powerful, must make sense, they must be meaningful for the person that we are saying. They must be related to the information that they are telling us. Sometimes they might think that we are mind readers, because if we are, sometimes you are talking to your doctor or to your hypnotherapist, you are telling information that after you don't remember all the things that you have told the hypnotherapist. So during your session, you are telling in the script, you include what your client has told you. The client could think, wow, how does this person know that? It's like mind reading, and it could influence positively our client's subconscious mind. For that reason, I believe that a good hypnotherapist is a hypnotherapist who reads a lot of scripts, who can tailor scripts, who adapt the scripts to the client, who is willing to create even their own scripts, who has the intention to adapt that script. That's what I believe, that it should be a good hypnotherapist. There are some times where it's not recommended to use scripts, especially when, for instance, I have here a script from a woman called Catherine Zimmerman. This script is about test anxiety. I could have this script. Imagine that there is a client coming to see me because he wants to improve academic performance, wants to feel more relaxed when doing an exam, and I start reading the script. Probably that's not going to influence very much into our client's subconscious mind. The way more effective to do it will be, first of all, preparation is essential. So always, before seeing any client, the script should be just a guide, like a strategy. Should outline all the things that we want to do. Okay, we want to do an induction, we want to do a deepener now. Probably those are words, I don't know if you are familiar with those words. So all those things we should adapt to our client's need, to our client's way of learning too. So all that is what I support, I really support, that should be included in our scripts. All that strategy, from the induction through the deepener, even when we immerse the person, when we take the person out of trance, everything should be thought before the session. It doesn't mean that we are going to stick 100% to the session, because another of the important things is adapt to our client. I give you an example, what happened to me this week. I have now 2 people with insomnia. One of these clients is very analytical. This is a man that loves science, always into maths. For me, it's more difficult to hypnotize those people. It doesn't mean that it's impossible, only that it takes a different approach. When I was doing a simple method of deepener is just helping the person to relax. I'm going to count from 10 to 1, and And with each number, just double your relaxation. That's the suggestion. 10, 9, 8, double your relaxation. So I saw when I was doing the deepening that guy was moving a little bit uncomfortably. That was what I noticed. At the end of the session, he told me, I didn't ask, well, I asked him, how are you? It felt nice, didn't it? That's a simple suggestion. Always, after the session, we give the suggestion. That was nice, wasn't it? Even if maybe it wasn't nice for the client, but usually that's a suggestion. So he told me, look, I enjoyed the session, but when you told me to imagine a building, I told him, imagine that you are on top of a building and you are going to take a lift. That lift, I'm going to count from 5 to 1. Imagine that you are taking that lift, and with each number you are coming down, you are going to come down the floor, and you are going to relax, double with each floor. What he told me is that when I told him to imagine a building, it reminded him his office building. One of the issues that is triggering his insomnia is work. He's always thinking about work. He cannot switch off his mind. So 2 reasons why he came to see me: to switch off his mind before going to sleep, and the second, to stop waking up in the middle of the night, and to release stress and anxiety. Probably those 3 issues. However, I was triggering his discomfort or his insomnia when I was doing the deepening. I don't know, probably that was my mistake, because I didn't tell him maybe to tailor with his own words which deepening will be better for him. So I learned from the next session, when I had to do the deepening part, I just told him, okay, even when the person was under hypnosis, I was interacting, talking to the person, because if that person is very analytical, I don't want to do many convincers. So I was just talking to him, and now I want to relax even deeper and deeper. I know that building where you were last time weren't very happy. That was because it reminds you to your work. So what would you like to imagine? He didn't tell me anything, but I knew, because of the intake form, that he loved bicycles, cycling. He loved to go to Wicklow Mountains and do cycling. So the first thing, even if he didn't tell me, because he was very analytical, he was like challenging me a little bit, was to, okay, imagine that you are on top of the hill in Wicklow Mountains, and now you are coming down the hill with your bicycle. Mm-hmm. I'm going to count from 5 to 1, and you are going to relax with each number. Just imagine that you are on your bicycle coming down the hill, and with each number just relax, double. So that was more suitable for him. That wasn't on my script. I had to adapt to what happened at that moment. So for that reason, if I was reading my script, well, what had happened to me first, I hadn't realized that when I was saying the deepener, I was using the deepener, the person was moving a little bit, because I was focusing on my script. If I was reading my script, probably I had continued my script without giving importance that there was a cue there from my client. For that reason, again, I support scripts, but I support always having a strategy, tailoring the scripts, and being open to what can happen, what can emerge from our clients. For that reason, I consider that it's even irresponsible not to prepare the session in advance. I think that it's even irresponsible not to have a clear strategy about what we want to do with our client. I think that is essential, because we look much more convincing if we read our strategy several times. And what I want to say with this is that the scripts are very powerful. We can include our suggestions here. And I recognize I don't create all my scripts from scratch. Actually, I think that I have created maybe 2 or 3 scripts from scratch. What I do is just to take others' ideas, and I just include the client's suggestions. So today we're going to do 2 things. First of all, we are going to learn how to create a script, a hypnotic script from the scratch. What will we include? What will we need to include in that hypnotic script to be more effective, to influence the subconscious mind of our client? And second, I would like to practice with you how to include in a script that it has been already made by another hypnotherapist, how could we use it in our favor to help our client? What are the most important suggestions that we could include to make it effective? So those two things. I am aware that there are some hypnotherapists and some people who love writing scripts. It's an art. And if you read hypnosis books, you see that it's an art, it's like stories, and they are amazing. I would recommend to everyone just start reading a hypnotherapy script book as if it was a story book, because they are stories. So how can we create those stories? In my personal opinion, I'm not a great fan of starting a script from the scratch. Sometimes I might lack imagination, sometimes I might lack time, because it requires time and you have to have passion to start a script from scratch. However, I can modify. What I did is I get the idea from scripts that have been already written, and at the end I might realize that I have written so many things that the script is completely new, but at least I have an idea. I don't have to start completely from scratch. For that reason, when we use scripts, instead of just reading the script, what I would recommend is just preparation, always. A lot of preparation, reading in advance. And instead of just reading during the session, is just having a look about what you have to say. And on your own words, just delivering the script. As even if you have it here written down, okay, I know, feeling so safe and relaxed now in your own private sanctuary. So I read this in advance, and now as you are feeling relaxed in your own privacy, in your own sanctuary, I have said something similar to this, and I'm not reading. You can do something similar, so the person can feel that you are just not reading scripts. I'm aware that sometimes you have to read scripts if you want to say something in particular, but just to be more effective. When we deliver scripts, it's important to let our client assimilate the idea, to think about the idea a little bit. Pauses. We are delivering the script, we are talking, and give your client 1, 2, 3 seconds to think about the idea. And during that time, you might notice that your client is moving, maybe changes in the face, you might see the fluttering of the eyes, you might see something. So those cues are important. For that reason, if you are reading your script, you are not going to notice those little cues that will tell you information very important for you and for the client, obviously. So that would be what my advice would be. When we are delivering scripts, or when we are writing scripts, as I said before, what is the most important thing? To collect information from our client, as much information as we can, and to include that information into the script. Because what we want to do, we are going to include that information that the client is familiar with. So you are talking about, but as a lot of information. In a moment we are going to practice. I have here an example of my intake form, the one I use with my clients, just a few questions that are important. So that information is important, because after, when you are delivering your script, you are going to include people, people that the client knows. You are going to include places that the client knows. You are going to include even the own words of the client, because that client is going to feel identified. And as I said before, some people might think, okay, no, I know that the hypnotherapist is telling me this because I told him before. However, other people might think, oh, this hypnotherapist is amazing. How does this hypnotherapist know? Because maybe doesn't remember that person that has told you before that information. So you are just increasing that influence, that power over your, well, not over your client. Because remember always, this is a collaboration between you and your client. You are not going to be able to hypnotize your client if the client doesn't want you hypnotizing. So get on well with your client, pace, lead the person, build rapport, because the more rapport you have with the client, the more easily you are going to influence into the subconscious mind of the person. And the way to influence will be through delivering symbols, words, sounds that are familiar with our client. How does it sound like? Does it make sense to you?
Oh, yeah.
That's it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, if you have the detailed, say, questionnaire when you're doing the initial interview, write all the information down, maybe even names of their family, that type of thing. And, you know, you get them, then you can incorporate that with a fairly decent script, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what I
absolutely. That will be basically the summary of all what I have just said. I might talk a lot, but probably that's the key.
Yeah.
So always have a great intake form. I think that that's essential. Even from the moment when the client calls us, just ask information, a lot of information.
Yeah, and find out that you take down the emotion words that they use. When they're filled with the emotions, if you write down their way of expressing emotions, and then when they're under and you use the same phraseology, it works for me anyway. So
Yeah.
it doesn't for me.
Yeah.
So presuming it works for my
Because
clients.
an old buddy here at the bench, using similar phrases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Actually, that's one of the keys for building rapport in NLP. Using the same words that the person you are talking with. The person is going to feel that, okay, this person is talking like me, even doing the same gestures. If you have some knowledge about NLP, is how can you build rapport with the other person? How can you make the other person like you? Pacing the voice, the tone of voice, doing the same gesture, mirroring, that's important. So even if the person is under hypnosis, you can use the same words or similar words. What do you think, Hannah?
Oh, I'm right behind you. I'm there.
Yeah, fantastic.
So far.
Would you take in the consideration, like, this is in a first year psychology class modulated, but there generally is three ways people express themselves. They're taking information visually,
Auditory. Yeah.
auditory, and of course script through kinesthetics. Would you take that into consideration? From it's something I kind of bore in mind when I'm talking to my friends, but again I'm very new at it. Just how I know that, say, my ex-girlfriend, when we were practicing, she was extremely emotional, and just that it was how you feel was worked best. When I know that one of my buddies it's very much visual. You can
Absolutely.
You can see this fading. You can see.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic question, and I completely agree with what you are saying. I think that is important to know what is the way of learning from our client. How does the client learn? Visually, auditory, or kinesthetically? And depending on which way of learning, you use some words or different words. If someone is more kinesthetic, you use, and now just feel the fluffiness of the cloud, and it's so relaxing. Just have a feeling of that fluffy cloud underneath of your body. If someone is more visual, just imagine, observe and visualize that cloud in the sky. There is a beautiful blue sky. If someone is more auditory, and now that you are in a beautiful landscape, you can hear the sound of the birds. And that sound is relaxing you even deeper and deeper. The more you hear that sound, the more relaxed you are. So that's another very good point.
Well, it's something out what they like, because you might get someone who doesn't like water. And I think if you ask them, like, what's your favourite? Do you like walking by the shore? Do you like walking in the country? And you get to know them, what they like. You can make up something then, and you let them visualise and that type of thing.
And how do you know what the client like?
Well, you'd ask them, in the initial interview, you'd say, oh, by the way, what's your favourite pastime? Do you like walking in the country? Do you like the beach? When you go on a holiday, what do you do?
Yeah.
And you get all this information, and then you can work around that,
Exactly. As you say, you ask. For that reason, the intake form is so important.
What you were saying about the building there, coming down lifts. A lot of people don't like coming down lifts because they're afraid. My wife now won't get into a lift. But she's afraid. So the last thing you want to do is put someone in the lift and they're coming down. So what you have to, the staircase is probably safer, provided you have the old safe handrail and they feel safe.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some people who fear the heights too. So in that case, they would prefer the lift instead of the staircase. And what I didn't expect from this client is that the relationship between this building and his work, that was more difficult. He didn't fear the staircase, he didn't fear. Actually, I told him, You can choose between taking the lift or going down the stairs. There is a beautiful staircase. So I gave him 2 choices. And what his relation with my works was that that's a building of offices where I'm working every day.
You hardly caught that on until maybe the second session, you know, where he told you himself.
Yeah, exactly. This client is very analytical. Maybe someone else, I don't know, he hadn't told me anything, but he's always learning. So every session I do, there is always something new that I can learn. So, okay, what else? I think that the best thing we can do is start practicing. Even if you might think, are we practice already? How are we going to do it if you have been talking only 15 minutes? We are going to practice as soon as possible because that's the way to learn, just by practicing. And scripts can be difficult, can be simple, or can be complex. If you guys remember John, Anna, and Sean last meetup, we were talking about language patterning. That language patterning, it requires a lot of practice to master them, to be able to unconsciously, how do you say, to unconsciously...
consciously
competent, to be unconsciously competent. To be unconsciously competent, it requires a lot of practice. And that I might say that that will be more complex. So today we're going to create scripts, simple scripts. If someone has a little bit more of knowledge, can include some language patterning, some double binds, or even a metaphor. But the idea is just to know how to create a script. What should we include? And the basis is just to collect a lot of information from our client and transform that information into a story, more or less, something like that. Well, this is what I say. Just, I believe in customizing the scripts for our clients, saying something meaningful for the person, an effective script, whether if you do self-hypnosis or you talk to your client, always the scripts, the words should be delivered in positive, in present tense. They should be delivered without negatives. Some people say that the subconscious mind cannot process the negative words. If you say, don't think about a pink elephant, what you are going to do now is to think about a pink elephant. So you tell a client, you are not stressed. The person is going to think about stress. So you can say, just refrain that and say, and you are very relaxed. So we shouldn't use the negative, positive. Present tense, simple language, depending on the client. Sometimes, especially with analytical people, it's better to confuse a little bit the mind. So it's like a kind of a game. If you have an analytical client, the client might be just thinking all the time what you are saying. So in that case, the use of metaphors, the use of confusion techniques, that's always very useful. The person might say, okay, I stop thinking, I stop analyzing what the hypnotherapist is telling me. So that's like opening the door to start inserting suggestions there. The suggestions should be delivered in a very, they should be short or medium length. You say a suggestion like this size, a paragraph, the person is going to lose track. It's going to turn off the mind. So usually just one short sentence, 1 or 2 sentences max, that would be ideal, especially for self-hypnosis. Always using powerful words. What are powerful words? We can say amazing, beautiful, fantastic, wonderful, things that can enhance the mind. When you hear that word, it's like, ooh, that's like a powerful word. Those words enhance the subconscious mind and the creativity of the person. Repetition, as you know, works very well. Repeating the suggestions over and over every day. It's very curious. I'm going to tell you a short story. The other day I was at the Party Kitchen in Dublin. I don't know if you know that pub. I was with my partner. We were having a dinner, and I ordered a pint before having dinner there. And 2 weeks before, I don't know, you were watching videos on YouTube. Do you remember the video on YouTube, the advertisement about Casper and the Liverpool fans? I don't know if you have heard. Have you seen that advertisement? No. Okay, what happened in the last 2 weeks, Casper had done a very aggressive marketing campaign on YouTube. I think that they have spent a lot of money there because every single video that you could watch on YouTube had an ad about Casper, about Liverpool. I think that they are sponsoring Liverpool team, so you could see Casper and Casper over and over. I fed up. Actually, I made a comment on my Facebook page. So the other day sometimes I didn't, well, I know that how advertisement can influence our decisions, even if some people don't believe on that. Some people might say, no, this is not affecting me. I can watch 100 times the same ad, but I can tell you that it's affecting us. Even if we think that we are immune, it's affecting us. But now the thing is that I'm more aware. When I went to order my pint, I don't really order Casper. For whatever reason I ordered, there were so many taps there, I used to drink Heineken. I don't know, I think that I'm not an expert on drinks, but that's the one I used to drink. And I ordered a Casper. Immediately I thought, okay, maybe this is because I was annoyed with those ads, but now I'm ordering a Casper. So that has been the first time that I've been aware and conscious how the advertisement was subconsciously affecting me. Sometimes, well, if I could see a product that I like on TV, obviously I'm going to buy it. But it's not that the Casper like it. I was very happy with my Heineken. So why am I deciding now Casper? And my second pint, do you know what I ordered, my second pint? Casper. I ordered Casper too.
It's time to change because once you get the taste of one, you get a Heineken then would taste like a different, or a Budweiser or something like that. It wouldn't be the same. It's a bad pint that you get the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not an expert on pints.
I don't actually believe that most of people, if we were able to give 5 glasses of pints without the brand, few people will recognize what is the difference on the beers. But anyway, so that's what I'm saying. Why I'm saying that? Because repetition is important. Why are we giving CDs to our clients? Why are we repeating over and over the same suggestion? Because it's like when you listen to a song on the radio, and after 5 times at the beginning you didn't like the song, and after 5 times you start singing the song, and you didn't like at the beginning, what are you doing now singing Rihanna? So you are singing something like that. So that's because of repetition. Repetition is already in your subconscious mind. When we give CDs, that's what we want to create. We want to create repetition. We want to implant those seeds into the subconscious mind of our client. And when we are talking about weak words, there are some words that are considered less effective than others. It's like try. I'm going to try this. You know that try means failure. You don't try to throw the marker. You throw it or you don't throw it. If you try doing something, usually you are going to fail. Thank you. What else? As I was saying, you are going to. If you say, I'm going to, that's not completely sure that you are going to do it or not. You might say, I will. More always positive. I can't remember now of more weak words, but always. Which one? Hope. Hope, exactly. Using expect instead of hope. Those are more, yeah, that's very well. So basically, this is just a general overview about scripts. There is a lot. We could do a 1-week training just talking about scripts. But I think that at least it's important to have that general overview, that idea. So now we can decide, okay, I like scripts, I don't like scripts, I adapt them, I don't adapt them, it's working for me. Because in 2 hours and a half, the only thing we can do is to have an idea, and after decide what is better for us. So now, this is the structure of a hypnosis session. And I will say, intake is the intake form. That will be part of the hypnotherapy session, but that wouldn't be included into the script. Okay, let me clarify this. A script should include all this, from the 2nd to the 7th step. Intake form is just collecting, is a problem declaration to know exactly what the problem is, to clarify what is the goal of the client, there are many clients that when they come to us, they don't know what they want. They know what they don't want. And if they don't know what they want, they don't know how to get there. They will not achieve that. So today, basically, as this is not a meetup about the structure of a hypnosis session, we are not going to go through all the steps. But basically, generally speaking, an intake form is collection of information. We will practice now with each other. Induction is just the connection between the reality and the hypnotic world. It's just a bridge to help the person relax physically and mentally. A deepener is just double helping the person to relax even deeper. Just the suggestion can be just as simple as counting from 10 to 1 with each number, just double your relaxation. Safe place. It's always advisable to create a safe place in the script. A safe place means that if your client starts crying or has an reaction, is feeling very emotional for whatever reason, you automatically give the suggestion, go to your safe place. Your safe place, it might be just a beautiful landscape that you have created into the imagination of the person. So that's a place where the person feels calm and relaxed. So automatically the person should feel calm and relaxed if there is an reaction. And this is the meat. This is the meat and the potatoes of the script, the suggestions. That's basically the therapeutic use of a script. Here is where we include all our stories, we include our suggestions, client's information, metaphors, language patterning. Usually this is the meat. I will tell you that you can use suggestions in your deepener, even in your safe place. So this is generally speaking, but it's not always. You can include some part of a metaphor when you are deepening the client. You imagine that you are deepening, I don't know, talking about a mountain. That example I was telling you before, that client that I had, that I was helping him to relax going down the mountain, I could have suggested. And now you are coming down the hill, but before coming down, you went up. And you had to go up, and it required a big effort. And as it required a big effort, you were able to go up to the mountain, and that's a great achievement, that maybe not everyone can do it. That's a suggestion. That's what we call ego strengthening. So helping the person to feel good, to be strong. Okay, if I was able to go up to the mountain, so those are suggestions that we can give during the deepener. That's just an idea, but usually all the suggestions are included here. Future pacing is just helping the person to imagine that the change has happened already, that the behavior has been modified, that the unwanted behavior has gone, that now I quit smoking, I am not a smoker, that now I can breathe very fresh air. That's future pacing, helping the person to imagine that the change has happened already. And emerging, usually doing it slowly, from counting from 1 to 10, and giving suggestion of feeling refreshed. When I count 10, you can open your eyes, feeling really refreshed, feeling really good. 1, 2, 3, you count up to 10. So that's it. So, any question about this? Do you have any doubt, any question?
I haven't heard of the number 4 safe place. I'm familiar with the others, I just haven't heard.
Okay, a safe place, after the deepener,
yes.
You help the person to create the imagery of a place where the client feels comfortable and relaxed.
Okay.
And why do we want that? Because during the session, the client might start crying, might feel too emotional. And the way to help the person relax is just telling them, go to your safe place. And that person, imagine now that you are in your safe place. Imagine that someone is having a big reaction because that person has been abused and is bringing back memories. If you are doing a regression, especially the safe place is much used in a regression. When you are regressing a person to a moment when you want to discover what is the initial sensitizing event. When was that the first time that person was abused? That usually is when the person developed the trauma. So if that person had a reaction, start crying or feeling very stressed or even screaming, it might happen that the person started screaming. So you just tell, okay, calm down and come back to your safe place. Come back to your safe place, you're feeling calm and relaxed. You are start to visualize that beautiful blue sky with those fluffy clouds, or maybe you are now in the Wicklow Mountains. Some people, I found some clients here in Ireland, they love Wicklow Mountains and it's relaxing for them. So sometimes I use that as a safe place. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, for the purpose of the session, absolutely.
Yeah, that's part of the session.
Yeah, you're doing the actual induction. Can you sort of introduce like a safe place at that stage? You don't want to go down the steps, maybe finds a secret garden, he or she, and sits down, flowers, and you could say, well, that's your safe place. You know what I mean? And you're bringing the deeper then next, I know, as you go deeper, and then you're introducing the safe place again. So you do it twice, really, do you? Well,
Actually, you don't want, if you are creating a nice, safe place, automatically the person is going to relax himself. So that could be used as a deepener. A deepener could be just, imagine the person that is lying down on a beach. So that could be used as a deepener.
Going down the steps to a garden or whatever, so you're doing that, and then you're introducing the safe place at that stage.
Yeah, yeah. You can introduce it here, or you don't have to do the deepener. You just can say, okay, you are just imagine that safe place, and you don't do the deepener. You can imagine that the person is going down the stair from, I don't know, and the bottom of the staircase there is a beautiful beach there, and you connect the deepener with the beach. So usually, after using the deepener, if you are using the lift, you just say, and now when the doors of the lift open, you just imagine a beautiful landscape. Ideally, the client should say what is the ideal place, the safe place, sorry, and ask the client to tell you, okay, describe me what is your ideal place. I remember that at the beginning I feared interacting with my clients because I saw my clients, they were so relaxed, they were so under hypnosis that I thought, okay, I'm not going to ask anything. I was afraid of asking. The truth is that interacting with the clients is positive because you know more about the clients, you avoid making mistakes as I made last time, developing imagery that might not be useful. So for that reason, don't be afraid of interacting with your client, talking to your client during hypnosis. It can be done perfectly. It's true, today I saw a person and she didn't verbalize much. So what I did is create idiomotor responses. Idiomotor responses is just, okay, now the index finger means yes to you. If you want to say yes, just move the index finger. If you want to say no, move the thumb finger. So the person, I could feel that person didn't feel comfortable speaking because it was very deep into hypnosis. And when you are feeling so nice under hypnosis, you don't want even talk. So if you see that your client is maybe like not speaking much or not very clearly, don't push the client too much. If you don't really need to have that information, just develop those idiomotor responses. Okay, you use this index finger to say yes. Use the thumb finger to say no, full stop. Use the other thumb finger to say I don't know, depending. Okay, so are you ready to practice?